It's Monday, June 10th, I believe, and we are looking to get this out to you as early as possible, but there's just not a lot of games today, so I was waiting for as much information as possible, hoping that more moves came in, but they just weren't coming in, guys, so I was not going to delay it anymore. We got to get right down to it. We're already 30 seconds in, and I do not want to waste your time. I'm going to ask you kindly, please go down, smash that like button. That's all I ask. Just smash that like button, and I will continue to put these out, win or lose, every single day. I will share as much actionable information as possible, and all I need from you is a little bit of support. And even better, if you can comment, ask questions, or share. If you're really gangster and you want to share, you're really looking out for Ace. And I always check, as you can see. My girl always prints me out the questions so I can make sure and address them. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for it. So with that said, let's talk about yesterday, and more importantly, last week, this month, this year, and the last 365. Got to tell you when I win, and I got to tell you when I lose as well. The journey of being a winning sports bettor is not a straight road. It is not going to go straight up, even when you're profitable. During some of my best years, my most profitable years, I needed to overcome some horrific runs. There were some runs where I looked like I didn't even know what I was doing. And yet it turned out to be the most profitable year, because I will continue to hammer this point home. Over a small sample size, there is a randomness involved that you can't differentiate between good luck and bad luck. You need a significant sample size to differentiate those two things. And that's what we're trying to do here by making sure we are transparent. That's why I'll tell you what I'm up the last 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, 100 days. But what matters most is, where are we the last 365? Where am I the last 3 years, the last 5 years? That's the type of results that's life-changing. Winning tonight, winning this week, winning this month, that's not life-changing. That's making today a little better, a little easier. This week, this month, a little easier. That's not what we're looking for. It's almost like if you want to lose weight, crash diets don't work. You'll drop a little weight in the beginning, but it's not sustainable. You can't starve yourself forever. You can do that for a week or 2, 3 weeks, even a month, even, where you eat almost nothing and just hydrate and exercise. But that's not a sustainable lifestyle. So what ends up happening? The weight comes back on. More importantly, more weight gets added on because you add the emotion, the stress. Same with sports betting. There's no difference to it. It's the exact same thing. It takes time if you want to produce good results. But for that to happen, you need to set the proper foundation. You can't crash diet. You got to take your bankroll. You have to determine your risk of ruin, and then rinse and repeat over and over and over again, knowing you decided your risk of ruin. Are you happy with 5% risk of ruin, 10% risk of ruin, 20% risk of ruin, 50% risk of ruin? What are you comfortable with? And what does risk of ruin means? The percentage of times you will double the bankroll, the percentage of times you will lose the bankroll. That's your risk of ruin. And it's determined by math based on your bet size in comparison to your bankroll. So if I have $1,000 bankroll and I'm betting $10 a play, my risk of ruin is going to be so much lower than if I'm betting $100 a bet. If I'm betting $100 a bet and I have $1,000 bankroll, then I'm betting 10% per play. My risk of ruin is so high, meaning I'm going to double my bankroll maybe 10, 20 times out of 100, but I'm going to lose it 80 to 90 times out of 100. That's the math. That's not my opinion. That's with having an edge. If you don't have an edge, forget about it. It's going to happen even sooner. But that's even if you have an edge, a proven edge. So that's why I'll continue to urge to bet size correctly. And that's why, whether I have a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, I'm going to face my subscribers. I'm going to face the steam room, and I'm going to continue to pound this home that if you bet size correctly and you bet 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1% and 1.25 of your bankroll based on a rating of 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, which is just the rating. We bet 0.25 of that. You'll overcome any negative streak, up, down, sideways, and turn a profit over a statistical significant sample size, like we did last year. Perfect example. At this time last year, I believe I was down. I was down money. When the dust settled, we increased starting capital by 80%. So those who stuck to the blueprint continued to manage their risk correctly, the edge materialized, and it produced exactly what it's supposed to produce, a profit. And that's exactly what we're here to do, profit. So let's talk about the last couple of days because it's been very, very bad. Let's see what we're looking at. Yep, over the last 7 days, I've lost 29 units. So let's say 28 units because we go 0.25. It'll make it easier. That's like losing 7 units, 7%. 7% of bankroll. And we bet over 100 bets, over 100 bets. Over 100 bets. Now, if you would have mismanaged your risk over those 7 days, the probability is you probably lost your bankroll or have negated it so much that you're now forced to chase. You're forced to bet inefficiently. You're forced to gamble. Never want to be put in that position. You're betting from a position of weakness. We don't do that. If you bet size correctly, you bet from a position of strength. If you don't take bad numbers, you bet from a position of strength. If you don't make plus EV bets, you bet from a position of strength. If you're not betting those exotics with the wild hold that nobody can overcome, you're going to make money betting sports. It's that easy. So that's where we stand. The last 7. Let's look at where we stand over the last 365. That's what matters most. That's why we do this. I'm not just betting today. I'm not betting for the week. I'm betting year after year. Well, here we go. We're now at still over 3,300 bets, 1.5% ROI, and that's all we could hope for. Again, there's a reason I'm number 1 in profit at Wager Talk over the last 365, and yet I'm sure you're seeing lots of ads, lots of marketing, how great guys are doing, and how much they're crushing, of how hot they are, and all that beautiful stuff. But at the end of the day, when all the dust settles, numbers never lie. And heading into today, Monday, June 10th, over the last 365 days, we are number 1 in profit. We are number 1 in profit. And I am extremely confident come December 31st, that's exactly where we're going to be. Go down there, smash that like button, give Ace some love to start this week. It's my birthday this week too. So, we're going to do damage. Good luck there on my birthday. Now, we don't have many games today, so I'm going to share as much actionable info as possible. I'm going to start you off in the WNBA, where we took the plus 11 on Indiana. Now, the groups I work with, they took the plus 12. They took the plus 12. I went ahead and took the plus 11. I was already leaning that way, so I don't consider it taking really a bad number. We took the 11 on Indiana. Now, I'm going to give you 2 premium Major League Baseball bets that I also released. Let's do that right now. First up, let me give you the big dog. Let's go big dog. We're going to go Chicago White Sox over Seattle. That's correct. We're going to take the White Sox, who have now only won 17 of their, 60-plus games. And I do expect them to finish last in their division. That's for sure. In the Central, they'll finish behind Detroit. And obviously with the Seattle team, they're going to finish behind Houston when all the dust settles. But they're going to win about 51, 52% of their games. Where they sit right now, I think it reflects around there, maybe a little higher. They're not really playing above their means. But I think this is a decent spot for the White Sox. They haven't played yet this season. And they are coming off a split with Boston while Seattle returns home after playing, 6 straight games on the road against Oakland and KC, which they split, went 3-3. Let's look at the starting pitching matchup. We got Betty and Gilbert. Gilbert 1-4 over his last 5. Petty 1-4 over his last 5. both with the same earned run, more or less. Let's see the pitches. Let's see how many pitches. That's what's important. 12.9 per inning, 18 per 9 an inning. All right. Ground ball pitcher. All right. We got the data. We're taking the White Sox. We're going to take the White Sox plus 185. White Sox plus 185. That's a 3% play. 3% play. And let's go take the total as well, because the over got steamed in that one. Now, I would have liked to see 7.5. That would have got a little more respect, but it's still a little early. And with a small board, there's still time, because we went over 6.5 and we went over 7. So being a key number, you don't want to get the 7.5. So we'd like to see the market get the 7.5, but we don't want to lay the 7.5. We want to go over 6.5, over 7. Now, there's no more 6.5s left. We could easily go over 7 if you agree. Now, there's also one more total that I lean. I'm going to try to confirm between now and obviously before first pitch, and that's the under in that Baltimore-Tampa Bay game. Under in Baltimore-Tampa Bay. This is game 4 of that series. I don't think Tampa should be this big of a dog in this spot. That much I can tell you. I really don't. I think when the season's over, I don't think Baltimore is going to win 67, 68% of their road games when all the dust settles. They're playing well above their expectations. They've won, about 67% of their games this year, when they're only expected to win about 57, 58. So they're, again, playing well above their expectations. Their Pythagorean wins, they are well below what their record shows right now. So they've been a product of good luck, where Tampa appears to be a product of bad luck, because they're a team that will finish 500, and they're below 500 now. So almost a perfect storm. Let's look real quick. Right, in the first series they played in Baltimore, Baltimore won 2 of the 3, and they've already won 3 straight in Tampa. So look at the motivation for Tampa not to get swept 4 straight at home. Yeah, they've been getting lit up at home. But that's what I like, that prior to their road stretch, you saw they had a winning stand against the A's. So it's a team that should do a lot better at home than they're already doing. They're a couple games under 500. And since they'll finish above 500 overall record for the season, rest assured, they'll finish above 500 at home as well. So they're one of those teams I have as undervalued. Baltimore's one of those teams I have labeled as overvalued. And this appears to be the perfect storm, especially when I look at the starting pitching. There's a lot of recency bias to Corbin Burns of late, with that 1.0 ERA over his last 5, where Pepio has also won 4 of his last 5, at least the team has. But his ERA has not been as impressive. But I like their comparable as far as pitches per inning. Yep, Tampa should not be this big of a dog. Just throwing that out there. I like the under in Baltimore, Tampa. I like Tampa as well. See what that run line is. If that run line's anything less than 150 or less, yeah, that's where it's at. 6 out of 10 times. Yeah, with a total like that, yeah, that's where we want to look at. So now you know where I'm at, and I lean under as well. Yeah, the plus 1.5 on Tampa with the under. Don't be surprised if that's a premium play later today. Looks like it's going to do it. Let me answer some questions and get you guys out of here. Make sure, please, smash that like button. Just do me that favor, and I will continue to bring the gold. Remember, we're going to have the playoffs over soon and just focus on baseball. Then we're going to be talking college football, NFL, future bets, week-by-week bets. And, of course, you know the Steam Room is going to be live every Sunday during the NFL season, because I want to go over every single game before kickoff. We'll probably meet in the Steam Room 2 hours before the NFL kickoff on Sundays, and we will go over every game, answer every question. And I'm trying to do a Saturday one as well, because Saturday we have so much college football, and we'll have, other stuff going on as well, because basketball will start then, hockey will start eventually, and of course we'll have MMA going on. So a lot ahead for subscribers, and more importantly, it's that profit. So let's get this going. All right. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Valkoski, thank you, sir. Always enjoy you. Your explanations are stellar. I have a question. Does Vegas in baseball take into consideration streaks like Cincy, huge streak, but plus money today? Is that only based on the game, or is there some to the streak and it can't last? They're going to, a streak's going to get shaded because most recreational bettors look to bet against streaks. Kind of like the same reason they put that box next to the roulette table that shows you what the last 20 spins were, because they want someone walking by to notice, oh, wait, there's 5 reds in a row, 8 reds in a row. Black's got to be due, right? Can't have 20 reds in a row. You can't have 50 reds in a row, right? Black's got to be due. The hell it is. It's 50-50 each time, less than 50-50. You throw the zeros, double zeros, whatever the hell those are in there. So for the green, you throw green in there, you're no longer 50-50. So with that said, they're going to put the streak into account, but I think just shaded. They'll shade it knowing that bettors are looking to fade it. And it depends on the matchup, depends on the pitching. But I do believe most bookmakers, odds makers would look to shade towards that bias of a team being hot, and a lot of recreational bettors looking to break streaks. See, I look at the opposite. If I miss the streak, then I'm not looking to bet against it. And more times than not, it's too late to bet on it. Because what happens is this: if you bet a streak to end, the most you're ever going to do is cash one ticket. That's it. You may lose 5 or 6 before you cash that one, but the most you're going to do is cash that one, meaning the streak ends. It may end on the first bet you place, but that's all you're going to cash, one ticket, if you're right. On the other end of that same spectrum, and on the other side of that coin, if you ride a streak, you could win 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 consecutive bets. That's the difference between riding streaks and fading streaks. See, there's sometimes you want to fade a streak, sometimes you want to ride a streak. So great question, Sean. And rest assured, odds makers and then the bookmaker, once they post, they will shade those numbers towards some of those biases, streaks being one of them. How do I feel about the Oilers in this series? Let me tell you now. Florida won game 1. I forget who I said before that series started. I know I had a lean. How about Boston Celtics going up 2-0? How about them Celtics going up 2-0 on our 5% play? Let's get that 5% on MMA that we just hit and another 5%er. All right. Let me look at the adjusted number in hockey. Oh, Panthers are now minus 245 against the Oilers. Believe it or not, I'd lay the chalk here. I'd take Florida or nothing. I think actually they're probably good up to minus 300, where they win this series 3 out of 4 times. I really do. Yeah, so that's where I stand there. I like the Florida side, and I think even now at around that minus 250 range, I think there's a little bit of value there. I may look at that for my subscribers a little later, for sure. Let me see. All right. Recreational player. Do you think half a win in college football season win totals is worth 70 cents? If a college football season win total is mispriced at the weaker book, would you get as much as you could or just bet about 1.25? Yeah, there's sometimes I go above that, but it's usually if I'm going to set up a scalp or a middle where I know I'm not going to put out that risk. Meaning like here where the line is off at one book, I would look to take advantage of that. But if I went over my blueprint for risk, it would only be because I'm looking to scalp that or middle that extra money. I'm not looking to gamble more. Unless I have inside information about a predetermined outcome, I'm not going to gamble. I'm not going to gamble. And even though we know we're getting the best of it, remember, good bets lose all the time. That's why you have to set up parameters. Otherwise, we would wait to be plus EV and shove all in. We could just shove every time we're plus EV, shove. Like at the blackjack table, I'll wait for a plus count and shove, shove, shove. Can't do that. Can't do that because you're going to lose a lot of good bets, a lot of great bets, a lot of phenomenal bets along the way. That's why we manage our unit size and our risk side as efficiently as possible, because we know that going in. So that's where I would not bet more. Now, let me look real quick if there's anything else I could add before I get you guys out of here. I'm just looking for you guys. Like I said, remember, it's a live trading room floor here. This ain't a show. All right. Yeah, it looks like that's going to do it for today. Michael, I put your question to the side. I'm going to read it off real fast. I'm going to reply to it tomorrow. I'm going to have a good one for you. We're only 2-1. Our agreement. I'm still up a dime plus blackjack winnings, 14K up in a small period of time. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Keep managing your risk correctly, and I promise you, I would not say this unless I was extremely confident. I have access to the sharpest information on the planet right now. The groups that I'm working with, there's zero doubt in my mind with that. In fact, I'm not even looking for new guys. There's groups that reach out to me all the time because I have a reputation for being good pay, and I turn them down. I'm working with elite right now where I know I cannot get better. So I'm extremely confident in what's coming over these next 6 months, these final 6 months. We are as well set up as I've ever been over the last 10 years to do some serious damage. So I love you guys. And my man's saying the only one of BMC that I like is the White Sox. I would pay a little and take +1.5 runs. So I'm going to lay low, take the day off, share a funny moment when you bet and won. I'm going to tell you some funny bet and won stories and some bet and loss stories. I'll do it right now quickly, Michael. Let me tell you this real quickly. Here's what happens. Playing blackjack, right? It's true story. Get a comp at Aria. Full RFB. What happened was I was developing a reputation for being a cash player. And when you're a cash player, they want to offer you a lot. See, when you're a credit player, they don't have to offer you shit because the credit's with that property. So they know you have to play there. When you're a cash player, they know I could take my money and walk across the table. I walk across the street and play wherever I'm most comfortable. So unless you're going to throw shit at me, I'm going to take my cash elsewhere because they know once you lose that cash, if you have that kind of cash, then you could obviously apply for credit too. So in their mind, they're like, we could bury this guy if we give him a lot of shit. So here's what happens. Once you get to that level where you're in that pool of high rollers, you hire an agent. You don't deal with regular marketing guys anymore. You don't deal with those casino guys anymore. Those see, I can't believe it. The name just escaped me. See, gotta get some more rest at night. But the guys that give the comps, the whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. Someone's going to put the word down in the comments, please. See, I haven't used one in so long. I haven't asked for one in so long. But here's what happens: you find an agent, and what that agent does is he reaches out to the casinos and he says, "Hey, I got a group of guys. One guy's a cash player, one guy's a credit player, one guy's an alcoholic who's got a lot of money. These guys like to gamble, but they like to party as well. What are you offering?" And they'll say, "Hey, we'll give them full RFB. That's room, food, and beverage. We'll give them 2,000 in promo chips for every 4 hours of play. We'll give them tickets to this. We'll give them, and that's what happens. And he pimps us around to the different properties, and whoever gives you the best, that's the offer you take. Anyway, Aria. I never stayed at Aria, and they were offering me Sky Suites. Sky Suites at Aria with full RFB. I was like, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. So me and a lovely lady scheduled to spend 5 days at Aria. The first time I go in, we check in, we go downstairs. Before we're going to even grab dinner, I said, let me give them some play. Let me give them a little bit of play, because they hooked it up. When I walked into the room and I saw how beautiful it was, and they had a fruit platter and he had champagne, like they set it up. They set it up nicely for us. Anyway, so I go down and I say, let's play some blackjack. There's $100 hand table that wasn't even in high limit pit. It was just on the regular floor. Aria doesn't play as far as their limit goes. So it was $100 limit. I buy in probably for like 5 dimes. Couldn't have been more than that. I start playing. Couldn't have been 20 minutes in. I'm stuck probably about a half hour in. I'm stuck maybe 3,000. Stuck about $3,000. And next thing I know, it's this lady with red hair surrounded by like 5 guys in suits and 2 security guards. Walk up to the table. Mr. Karalis, I'm just looking straight ahead, acting like I'm playing. Mr. Karalis, I'm just ignoring it. Mr. Karalis. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you know, you can't play here. I say, excuse me? She said, you know, you've been banned from all MGM properties. I said, what are you talking about? I'm not banned from any property. She said, no, you're banned from playing blackjack at any MGM property. I said, what does that mean? She said, well, it means what I just told you it means. You can't play blackjack at any MGM property. This is an MGM property. You can't be playing blackjack here. I said, well, my host hooked me up, gave me room, food, and beverage to play here, to stay here for 5 days. And she's like, well, he shouldn't have done that unless you're going to play other games. You're allowed to play other games. You just can't play blackjack. I said, you couldn't have done that about 20 minutes ago before I got stuck $3,000. You waited till I got stuck $3,000 to come tell me this? Anyway, she tells me you can't play. I get backed off. No problem. The chick's like, what do you want to do? I said, let's go. I'm always in the mood to play at that time, get that money back. So let's go to the Hard Rock. The Hard Rock, I was still good at that time at the Hard Rock. We go to the Hard Rock, start playing at the Hard Rock. I swear to God, within like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I was up like $13,000, $14,000. Like it was just coming where the count was high. So I was playing 100 to 1,000 betting, flat betting, 1x to 10x. Like I said, that's how you beat double deck, 1x to 20x to beat 6 deck. So I was betting 100 to 1,000. And I got to the count where no lie, like 5 or 6 hands of 800 to 1,000 with double downs, with splits where I got blackjack. So anyway, I've beaten them up. And right away, boom. The same exact story. A lady, once again, with suits, 2 suits this time, more security with her. You got to go. Say, excuse me? You got to go. You can't be playing blackjack here. I said, what are you talking about? We decided that you cannot play blackjack here anymore. In fact, we would like you to leave the property. I said, why do I have to leave the property? What did I do? I didn't do anything. They said, sir, you're not welcomed here anymore, and we are asking that you leave the property. I tell the girl, let's get the fuck out of here. So I said, let's cash these out. Walk into the cage. As we're walking to the cage, I swear it was like a parade. It was a parade of security and suits walking behind us. And the only thing I was pissed about is that I didn't tell the guy, because there's this cool guy at the table that was playing with me. He had a really hot chick with him. And I wanted to tell him, because he was like, what the fuck's happening? What's happening? I said, bro, what's happening is that I beat these guys before and they're afraid I'm going to beat them again. And he's like, are you serious? I said, dude, you think they're going to let you play if you win? I wish I would have called it out and made a big scene right there that you're telling him he's a dummy, that this guy who's obviously a millionaire, extremely successful, you're calling him a dummy and you're letting him play. And what, I'm smarter than him? I'm from like freaking the streets. I came here with $600 and you're afraid to deal with me. I wish I would have made a scene like that. I've done that before. I'll tell you those stories. Anyway, I'm walking the parade behind me like it's the Mummers Parade. New Year's in Philadelphia. I'm ready to do the Mummers strut like we're on Broad Street. Anyway, I get to the freaking cage. Security guy comes right in front of me, dude. I like face to face as I'm right at the cage. Like there wasn't even room there. Like he had to push me to get in front of me. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm cashing out. He said, no, you're not. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? I had like $22,000. What I won plus like 10 dimes of my own that I had bought in for. I'm like, dude, I got like $22,000 in chips. I had a bunch of yellow chips. I'm like, what are you talking about? The guy says, we've made a decision. You're not allowed on here at all. I said, okay, so cash my chips so I could get out of here. Other security comes next to him. Says, I don't think you understood what he's telling you. He's telling you need to leave now, or we're going to call Metro and you will be trespassed. I said, trespass for what? I need to cash my chips. What do I want me to do with the chips? Dude, this guy's exact answer to me, I kid you not, I got an idea for you. Why don't you drill a hole through each of those and make keychains for your buddies? Because you ain't cashing those here. That much I promise you. It's exactly what he said. I said, what? He said, in fact, if I see you waiting for the bus, I swear to God, he said, if I see you waiting for the bus on this sidewalk out front, we're calling Metro and you're getting fucking trespassed, he said to me. They were so pissed. They got so pissed because what happens is they went back and they saw that we weren't stupid. We pulled off the ultimate gambit on them. Like, dude, we went in there and played progressive, negative progressive system for an entire week to where we looked like the biggest squares. So they would let me go from 100 to 1,000. I could have went from 100 to 7,000. Like if I just put a $7,000 bet in, as long as the table max wasn't that, they would have just took it because they thought we were just playing negative progressive, that we were just going to keep betting till we won. That's what they thought when I was up in bets. Well, what happened was they went back, they reviewed a shitload of tapes, somehow had someone looked at them. So they already had my name there. They were waiting. If this guy comes back to play, you get him. But what happened was I got hot instantly. I told you, like the count happened immediately, like off that first freaking shuffle. That only happened one other time at Red Rock, where with the first shoe, I got up over 10 dimes. That happened with the first double deck, where I got up over 10 dimes. So they didn't even have time. By the time they facial recognition, had my name through the system, security came downstairs, all that stuff, I was already up on them. And all they could do is push my chips back, and that's it. They couldn't take them. They could just push them back and say they're not going to cash them. So, of course, what happens was I had to slowly cash them, give them to friends, give them to family, give them to people that I even gave a percentage to get my money out. Because, again, if they couldn't just go with 5,000, 3,000, they had to go with one at a time. Because if you go with one, they're not going to ask you to go with $1,000. If you go up to the cage and you have 8 $1,000 chips, first thing they're going to ask you, where'd you play? Where'd you play? You're going to say, oh, I played at the high limit pit. Next thing they're going to do is they're going to pick up the phone, call the high limit pit. I have Mr. Karalis here. He's trying to exchange 8 yellows. They're going to say, yeah, that's good. He got him from here. And you're gold. They say he doesn't get him from here. You're going to run into some trouble. That happened to me at the Hard Rock in Tampa Bay. Me and my girl, I'll tell you that story next time if you guys want. Write down in the comments. Me and my girl in Tampa Bay for this last Super Bowl. In the morning, we're trying to leave. So we waited to cash out till that morning. We had a shitload of chips. Dude, I went to the sports book. I said, you go to the cage, because she was playing most of the blackjack. And I was like, I'll cash the sports book tickets. You cash the cage tickets. Dude, I was like, what's taking her so long? I went back. They wouldn't pay her. I'll tell you that story. I love you guys. Get me off on these rants. God bless you and yours. We're going to have a kick-ass week. Let's get it done. Love you all. Thank you.